السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we spoke about the ayah in which Allah Jalla wa Ala said, ادعوا ربكم تضرعا وخفية إنه لا يحب المعتدين. Allah Jalla wa Ala says in the Quran, make dua to your Rabb, call out to your Rabb with tadarru', with humbleness, with humility, and make this dua secret. Make it private between yourself and Allah Jalla wa Ala. Thereafter Allah Jalla wa Ala said, إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. He does not like those who exceed the limits. And we spoke about al-i'tida. We spoke about exceeding the limits when it comes to dua. Inshallah, we will speak about the first part of the ayah, in which Allah Jalla wa Ala taught us from the etiquettes of dua, one should keep his dua secret between himself and Allah Jalla wa Ala. Also, when Allah Jalla wa Ala mentioned dhikr, He said, وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ فِي نَفْسِكَ تَضَرُّعًا وَخِيفَةً. You should make dhikr of Allah Jalla wa Ala, and with tadarru', with humbleness, with humility. Remember Him when you are alone. وَخِيفَةً, and you should have khushu'. It is recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim from the hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu. He said that on one of the journeys, the companions happened to raise their voices whilst making dua. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ, O people, اربعوا على أنفسكم فإنكم لا تدعون أصم ولا غائبا إن الذي تدعونه سميع قريب. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, O people, you do not have to raise your voices when making dua. For verily the one who you are calling out to is not absent, and He is not deaf. In fact, He is all hearing and He is near. Imam al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah said that we saw certain people when it came to acts of worship, and these acts of worship were from those where one was able to do them in secret. They would always do them in secret. And when it came to dua, you would find them calling out to Allah Jalla wa Ala alone, and you would not hear a sound from them. And he said they followed the ayah of Allah Jalla wa Ala, where He said, ادعوا ربكم تضرعا وخفية. Call out to your Rabb with humbleness and humility and secretly. And He said, if you look in the Quran, Allah Jalla wa Ala praised one of His servants, Zakaria alayhi salam, who was a prophet. Why? Because when he made dua, Allah Jalla wa Ala said, إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ نِدَاءً خَفِيًّا. He called out to his Rabb in a way which was secret between him and Allah Jalla wa Ala. He did not shout, or he did not scream, he did not yell. Ibn Jurayj rahimahullah, he mentions that it is disliked for one to raise his voice when making dua and to scream when making dua. If we look, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he mentions certain fawaid, certain benefits when it comes to keeping your dua secret, keeping your dua between yourself and Allah Jalla wa Ala without others knowing. He goes on to mention the benefits. He said the first is, it is greater when it comes to the iman of the servant. If we look at one's iman, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, at this point he mentions that the person who calls out to Allah Jalla wa Ala secretly, quietly, between himself and Allah Jalla wa Ala without others knowing, he has full belief that Allah Jalla wa Ala hears the dua that is secret. The second is, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he says it is greater when it comes to one's adab with Allah, when it comes to one's etiquette, one's manners with Allah Jalla wa Ala, because the person who is making dua secretly, he knows that when asking Allah Jalla wa Ala, I am asking for something which I want, and I am asking the one who is as-Sami'. He hears every single thing. The third point he mentions, that it is closer to tadarru', it is closer to humbleness, humility and dignity. And verily when it comes to dua, you find that al-khushu', concentration and conviction. When you make dua, you know that Allah Jalla wa Ala is the only one who can give you whatever you ask for. He says it is closer, when one is closer to this, when he makes dua with khushu' and with fear of Allah Jalla wa Ala, with humbleness, with humility. Also he says, the fourth thing, that it is closer to ikhlas. It is closer to sincerity. When one calls out to Allah Jalla wa Ala and he is shouting and screaming and everybody knows his dua, he could have riya, which means he could be showing off. He could be wanting the people to know or to say that this person is very pious. Or look at him, he is making such a long dua. Or he is making such a big dua. Or he is asking Allah Jalla wa Ala in front of everybody. So it is closer to al-ikhlas. Therefore he said, after that he said that it is also closer it is more befitting when it comes to the heart. Because the heart, when it makes dua to Allah Jalla wa Ala, and when you make dua to Allah Jalla wa Ala, if you make it silently, you are able to ponder over what you are saying, and your heart is able to have what is known as al-khushu'. You are able to fear Allah Jalla wa Ala more. Then if you had to be yelling, firstly you don't even know, or whatever you say has very little effect upon yourself and upon your heart. Also he said that the one who makes dua silently and he makes dua secretly between himself and Allah Jalla wa Ala, he does not become tired. Because when you shout and you scream, you become tired. So when one makes dua secretly between himself and Allah Jalla wa Ala, he is able to make dua for much longer, and he does not become tired, and he enjoys making dua. Also he mentions that when one keeps his dua secret, it is closer, or it is better for him, because he is saved from any fitna or any trial from the people. And sometimes, as he goes on to mention, there is what is known as hasad. There is jealousy from other people. Sometimes you make dua to Allah Jalla wa Ala and you ask Him for something, and somebody else happens to hear you. And after that, they see that Allah Jalla wa Ala has granted you what you want. They could become jealous. So he says that from the benefits of making dua secretly is people don't know about your dua. So if you had to attain any benefit or any virtue, they would not become jealous because they do not know about your dua. Also, sometimes we make dua for things that certain people think are impossible. So if they had to hear you, they would mock at you, and they would make a joke out of you, and they would laugh at you. So when you make your dua in secret, they don't even know about your dua, and they don't know what you are asking Allah Jalla wa Ala for. So they cannot mock at you, and they cannot make fun of you. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to make us from those whose dua is accepted. Also he went on to mention that if you look in the Quran, you find that when Allah Jalla wa Ala spoke about dua and dhikr, He mentioned the word tadarru', with humbleness, with humility. Thereafter He mentions that when it comes to dhikr, Allah Jalla wa Ala said, call out to Him with khifa, which means fearing Allah Jalla wa Ala, having khushu' of Allah Jalla wa Ala. He goes on to say that when one loves Allah Jalla wa Ala and he makes dhikr of Allah Jalla wa Ala, he also has to have khifa. He also has to have fear of Allah Jalla wa Ala, so that his dhikr will have a greater effect on him, and his heart and body and soul, they will benefit from the dhikr. Thereafter he goes on to mention that the one who does not exceed the limits, as Allah Jalla wa Ala says, تِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ وَمَنْ يَتَعَدَّ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. When it comes to the limits of Allah Jalla wa Ala, He has put them down. The one who exceeds these limits, he has oppressed himself. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he goes on to mention that the one who does not exceed these limits, and you find that he has three things. He has khawf of Allah Jalla wa Ala, he fears Allah Jalla wa Ala, and he also has raja of Allah Jalla wa Ala. He also has hope in Allah Jalla wa Ala, and he loves Allah Jalla wa Ala. He says, bi'idhnillah, these three things, if one has them when he makes dhikr, and when he makes dua, and when he carries out any act of worship, bi'idhnillah, he will attain goodness in this world and the akhirah. And if you look at the one who these three things, he does not have them, or they are weak, you find the effect of his ibadah upon himself, the benefit for himself when it comes to these acts of worship is less. Thereafter he goes on to mention that when it comes to dua, Allah Jalla wa Ala mentioned at-tama'. He mentioned that you should have hope in Allah Jalla wa Ala. Why? Because when you make dua and you ask for something, you only ask somebody, or whenever you ask, for example in the dunya, you ask somebody who has this thing, somebody who is able to help you. As for the one who doesn't have it or is not able to help you, you wash your hands of that person. You do not bother asking him. So when it comes to Allah Jalla wa Ala, Allah Jalla wa Ala ordered us to have hope in him. And when we make dua, we should know that Allah Jalla wa Ala is able to give us whatever we want. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to make us from those who follow the etiquettes of dua. As he mentioned in this ayah, we should make our dua between ourselves and Allah Jalla wa Ala secretly. Nobody else has to know. And we mention the various benefits and the great benefits when it comes to making your dua secretly. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to make us from those who put whatever we learn from the Quran and Sunnah, we put it into practice. We ask him to forgive us, to forgive our parents, to forgive our mashayikh, to forgive all the Muslimin, those who are alive and those who have passed away. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.